Okay, so today we're going to go over Unit 3, Day 8 notes, which is basically going over school night problems. So, number one, what does the slope of the graph represent? Now, if you notice, they're asking you the meaning of the slope. They're not asking you to find the actual slope. So, we know that the slope is the rise over the run. And you know that the rise is represented by the y-axis because you're going up and down, and the run is represented by the x-axis. Now, if you look at the meaning on the graph of the y-axis, you notice it's miles. And x represents the gallons. And you know that the little fraction symbol is the same thing as per. So you know it's miles per gallon. Okay? So the answer would be C, miles per gallon. That's what the slope represents. Okay? The slope is the miles per gallon. Now, number two. What is the equation of the line graph below? Well, if you notice, first thing you need to do is find your slope and your y-intercept, okay? Which is basically your m and your b. That's the only way you can write a slope-intercept form equation. So if you notice, your y-intercept is -3, and your slope is 1, 2, 1. And it's -2/1, so -2, and it's -2/1, and it's negative because it's going downstairs, okay? So with that being said, your equation is going to be y equals -2x minus 3, which is D, okay? Okay, moving on to number 3. Which is the graph of y equals -x minus 2? Well, if you notice, first thing you need to identify is your slope and your y-intercept from this equation. Your slope from this equation is -1, and your y-intercept is -2. Now, using this information, look at the graphs and see which one has a y-intercept of -2. This has a y-intercept of -2, so that checks out. This does not, so that's out. This one has a y-intercept of -2, and this one does not. So that means the answer has to be between A and C. Now let's use the slope to eliminate one of them. If you notice, the slope is negative, so that means it has to be going downstairs. So A is going downstairs, C is going upstairs. So that means C is out. So that means my final answer has to be A. This graph is the graph of that equation. Okay? Moving on to number 4. Now, number 4 is the same idea, but it's a different equation. So which choice shows the graph of y equals 1/2 x plus 2? So that's your slope, and that's your y-intercept. Okay? So with that being said, let's start off with the y-intercept of 2. This is not 2, so that's out. This is 2, that checks. This is not 2. This is not 2. So the only one that will make sense will be letter B, because that's the only one that has a y-intercept of 2. And if you notice, it's increasing because the slope is positive. And if you did the rise over the run, you would get 1/2. Okay, moving on, go to the next page. Okay. Which equation is represented by the values in the tables? Now, obviously, if you don't have a calculator and this is in the inactive part, you're going to have to find the slope by doing the right side of the left side, and then using that slope to find your letter B. But for this problem, we're going to go ahead and practice using our calculator, the stat edit. So everyone get your graphing calculator. You're going to click stat, enter for edit, and make sure you clear your tables and make sure you're using L1 and L2. Now L1 is going to be my first column, and as you can tell, the numbers are 2, 3, 6, 9. The other side will be 2, 4, 10, 16, Okay, now go to stat, calculate, line regression, enter, 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 and your result comes out to be 2, -2. So my answer is going to be C. Okay, because the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is -2. Okay, moving on to number 6. Which table shows the value x and y for the equation y equals -2x plus 5? Now you have two options of solving this. The first option is to type in each table into stat edit and see which one gives you the same equation. That's the first method of solving this problem. Second method will be to take your calculator, go to y equals, okay, and type in the equation -2x plus 5, and instead of clicking the graph, just go to second graph to see the table. Now let's start off with answer choice A. They're saying that if I go to x equals 1, then my y value should be 7. Well, let's see if that's true. The calculator says that when you go to x equals 1, your y value is 3. So this is not the table. Same idea over here. They're saying that if you go to value 1 for the x, then your y value is -7. We already said that the y value is 3 at that point, so that's wrong. Here they're saying if you scroll down to the x value of 4, that your y value is 3. Well, let's see if that's true. Nope, I got -3, so that's wrong. Now 4, -3, 4, -3, that's correct. Now let's look to the next one. 6, -7. 6, -7, checks out. Now 8, -11. 8, -11. So my answer is D. That's the table that represents that equation. Okay, moving on. The graph line passes through points 4, 10, and -2, -2. What is the slope of the line? Well, there's two ways you can solve this. The first way is to do the rise over the run. Second way is to do a table using those 2 points and find the slope between the 2 points, either with your calculator using stat edit or doing it by hand. So really, there's 3 different ways that you can solve this. So it just depends which is your favorite and if you have access to the calculator or not. Okay, so I'll start off by doing the rise over the run. So the rise over the run. Okay, so I'm going to pick 2 points. I'm going to use this one right there and this one. So my rise is 1, 2, 1. So 2 over 1, which is just 2. Okay, so my slope is 2. And now, if you decide to use your calculator, just go to stat edit and type in the 2 order pair. So 4, -2, 10, -2. Stat, calculate, option number 4. And as you can tell, your slope is 2. Now let's move on to problem number 8. It says a principal is buying computers for the school. Each class will receive 3 computers plus 1 computer for every 5 students in the class. Which equation shows the relationship between the numbers of students in a class and the number of computers? So they're asking you to create an equation using that table. Obviously, if you don't have a calculator, you're going to have to do the old-fashioned way, but we do have a calculator, so let's go ahead and plug it in to our equation. So make sure everything's cleared up. So that will be 10, 10, 15, 25, 30. And then it's 5, 6, 8, 9. Now stat, calculate, option number 4, enter, enter, enter. And I got 0.2 and 3. Okay, so that means my equation is y equals 0.2x plus 3. Now, you can either change the 0.2 into a fraction, or you can change these ones that are fractions into decimals to see which one gives you the correct answer. But anyways, 0.2 math, enter, gives you a fraction 1/5. So that means this is 1/5 x plus 3. So that means the equation that matches this will be A. Okay. Now, number 9. A phone company offers a mobile phone plan for a monthly fee of $19.95 plus 5 cents for each minute during the month. Which equation below represents the cost Y for 1 month when X minutes are used? So basically, what they're asking me is to write an equation that represents the situation. So I need to identify what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. Now remember, the slope is the thing that has the word every, per, each. And as you can tell, it says 5 cents for each minute. So that means your slope is 0.05. Now, your y-intercept will be the initial fee, which is $19.95. That's your starting fee. That's what the initial fee is going to be. So if you write your equation as y equals 0.05x plus $19.95. And of course, if you match this up, your answer is the letter B. Okay? And last question. The points -3, -5, 0, 4, 3, 13 lie on the same line. Which equation represents this situation? So first thing I would do, I would create a table. -3, -5, 0, 4, 3, 13. That will be the table we're going to use. You can either do this by hand, or once again, you can use your stat edit. So go to stat edit, clear this, and it's going to be -3, 0, 3. -5, 4, 13. Stat, calculate option number 4. And you end up with y equals 3x plus 4, because the a is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. So that means my equation, according to the answer choices, or the answer will be B, once again. Okay. If you have any further questions about today's review, please do not hesitate to ask me the next day in class.